In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. We start this Monday off on the right way. Yes, it is Monday, the beginning of the week. And tonight, as many of you probably know, and I'm sure you're all waiting for me to get to this one, tonight we are joined again by the illustrious Colonel Alan West. Good evening, Mr. West. How are you this evening?
Rod, I'm doing very well. How are you up there in New Hampshire?
We're not cold yet, so no snow's flying.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, we've had some hot weather. It's been nice. It is so good to be able to talk to you again, sir. It is definitely an honor and a pleasure.
All mine. Thanks, buddy.
I know that we don't have you for long tonight, but, I got to, the past weekend, there's been a lot of information and a lot of stuff coming out. I mean, it's all over the place. One of the big things, and I wanted to get your military view on this, is what Putin has all of a sudden put out there. I mean, it came as a surprise to many, I suppose, that he would actually say this. But Putin basically threw down the gauntlet and told Obama and NATO that they needed to join him with his operations in the Gulf and with Syria, or there would be dire consequences. What do you think he means by that?
Well, he framed that as unintended incidents, and I can come to understand that, if you are there operating in the battle space, if one of your planes gets shot down, oh well, because I gave the invite for you to be part of my coalition. And look, this is the exact same Vladimir Putin who, after President Obama had his famed red line, faux pas, Putin came in and took care of the chemical weapons issue with Syria. So now you see, with the lack of leadership, Vladimir Putin has, deployed, cargo planes from Russia that touched down in Iran, interestingly enough, and they have landed in Syria. And you have thousands of special operations troops, tanks, heavy combat equipment that is there to prop up Bashar al-Assad under the guise of fighting against ISIS, al-Nusra Front, Islamic terrorism, which is something that our president is sitting back and doing nothing about. And remember the off-mic moment that President Obama had with Dmitry Medvedev when he said, please tell Vladimir that after my reelection I'll have more flexibility. Look at what that flexibility has meant for Vladimir Putin, with him taking the Crimea, with him taking, portions of eastern Ukraine, threatening the Baltic states, military operations and exercises in the Arctic and reestablishing military bases there, flying, aircraft close to American airspace. And now we see he has troops on the ground in Syria.
Do you think he's really pushing the limits and testing the American resolve, or does he just think that this president is so weak that he can do whatever he wants?
Well, I think it's the latter, because he sees the fact that right now, as President Obama is not concerned about this. As a matter of fact, he is more so concerned about providing $150 billion and enabling Iran to become an economic power, military power, and a nuclear power. So this is a president that's totally disengaged. This is a president that said during the 2012 debate with Mitt Romney that he thought that, Russia was not our greatest geopolitical threat and foe. He said that the 80s needed his foreign policy strategy back. So when you have this flippant, dismissive attitude in the face of a person that's a former KGB colonel, which is what Vladimir Putin is, this is the end state result. He senses weakness, and he's taking advantage of it.
Now, do you think he's planning on making other moves besides the Crimea in Ukraine, which we have done nothing about?
Well, sure. I fully expect him to. I fully see right now the gathering of a 21st century axis between Russia, China, and Iran. We know that China is expanding its military hegemonic dominance throughout the Pacific Rim. The president said we were going to pivot away from the Middle East and focus on the Pacific, and he has not done that. So, Russia is stepping in. Putin is trying to show leadership, and strange bedfellows are going to be made. So now you see Iran supported, Hezbollah supported, Russia is there, Bashar al-Assad is going to be propped up. And this is why you have to know the actors out there. When General Qasem Soleimani, who is supposed to be on an international travel ban, he's the head of the Quds Force, which is a designated terrorist organization. 4 days after this agreement with Iran was signed, he traveled to Russia. He met with the defense minister there. He met with Vladimir Putin, and look what has come about.
Now, you mentioned an interesting point about a new axis with Russia, China, and Iran, and people sort of write off China, yet China spent an awful lot of money on building up their military, especially their Navy. Not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, we had a few Chinese warships, naval ships, skirting the outskirts of Alaska while the president was
absolutely.
Absolutely. Do you think he's ignoring this, or do you think President Obama is getting a message?
He's dialing it in. Let's be very honest, Rod, because what is he going to do about it? He's not going to, enact any type of military operations. As a matter of fact, this is the president whose administration said we're going to cut 40,000 troops from our United States Army. A good portion of those troops he's going to cut from the active duty Army are going to come from Alaska. We have the smallest Marine Corps since World War I, the smallest Navy since 1917, and the smallest and the oldest fleet since we created the modern United States Air Force. So, this is what he plans on doing. This is about degrading our military capability and capacity, and his focus is totally on domestic, socialist type of policies and programs, not about protecting and defending America, its interests, nor its allies.
I don't fully understand how he could implement a domestic policy like that if we get invaded by an enemy that really wants to get rid of us. And make no mistake about it, China and Russia are not our friends, and they would love to see us gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think you have to be concerned about China and Russia, attacking the continental United States of America other than by, economically, impacting us, which is what China is doing. But I think what you have to be concerned about is reducing the sphere of influence that the United States of America has in certain regions. Right now, being Europe, being also in the Middle East, North Africa, and then over in the Pacific. They're shrinking that, and when you look at NATO is the United States of America, but we don't have the military capability and capacity to stand up against, an invasion from Russian forces on the ground. We have nothing that this president is going to do as far as, standing up against Russia and now their intrusion into the Middle East. Because, again, Vladimir Putin is looking at an advantage where he can get his own foothold. And don't you think it's amazing? Just in 2003, I was there in Iraq, and those years that we spent to rid that country of Islamic terrorism and to get it propped up. The president made a campaign promise that he thought was more important than sound national security strategy and imperatives, and now we created a vacuum, and everyone else is filling that vacuum.
Everyone except the United States, and this is leading to a tremendous amount of Syrian refugees that are flooding Europe,
mm-hmm.
and Obama is saying that we're going to take more. We're already spending billions of dollars to help refugees across the globe, including in the Middle East. We spent like $4 billion last year just in the Middle East alone. And now Germany is trying to accept more, and they want the United States to take more. And we're agreeing, but we know that within that group, some of them are going to be terrorists, and we can't weed them out. Is that a good policy?
No, it's a horrible policy, but it's a policy that was created by a failed policy of President Obama. I mean, going into Libya and destabilizing Libya, for what reason? Now we have North Africa completely in a mess, and that's why they're crossing the Mediterranean. We have Iraq and Syria completely destabilized when all we had to do was leave 10 to 15,000 troops on the ground there, and that could have made an incredible difference. And so what we have to start looking at, and when I have been looking at this news footage and pictures and everything, there's a large amount of military-age males that are part of this quote-unquote refugee crisis. And I think very simply we should have an evaluative criteria saying that we will help the elderly, we will help the women, we will help the children, but military-age males, you need to go back and fight for your country. We're not going to allow you to come into Europe or come into the United States of America because I think that all you will see is the creation of, more domestic terrorist enclaves. And how funny it is that Saudi Arabia would say, we're not going to take any of these refugees, but guess what? We'll build hundreds of mosques all across Europe, for the refugees that are coming there. This is what is known as al-Hijra, which is the nonviolent spread of Islam through migration.
And migrating they are, and many countries that are having negative population growth are importing the Muslims, which are taking over their population just by sheer numbers. That is frightening.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that is.
We have something that's coming up in a couple of days, and a lot of people are focusing on what has happened over the past weekend. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions during the GOP debate that's coming up. And what do you think are the big ideas, or what should we be looking for or listening for from the candidates in the debates?
There should be three topics that they should discuss. It should be economic, energy, and national security, and that's it. I'm very concerned that the GOP primary now has delved into an incredible circular firing squad. The level of immaturity really does concern me with all of the bantering back and forth. And we need to talk about policy. We need to talk about economic policy that, once again, how do we reform our tax code, spending in Washington, D.C., get small business development to once again grow, and then also getting production and manufacturing by way of corporations coming back here. We need to talk about how we got to move away from the failed monetary policy of the Fed so that we can get, a true free enterprise economy, an opportunity economy, instead of this manipulated artificial economy by way of Janet Yellen and the Federal Reserve. We need to talk about how do we lift this export ban on our oil and natural gas, because that's part of the 21st century battlefield. I believe that Saudi Arabia is manipulating the price of oil per barrel because they are very afraid of Iranian oil getting on the market, and they're trying to undermine them since the United States of America is not doing anything. And we just talked about all of this, the global situation as far as security. How do we restore our military? How do we improve our foreign policy stature?
Now, who do you think really stands to gain the most if they do well in this debate?
Well, it's pretty interesting. We'll see, who does. I mean, without a doubt, you have some people that, your career politician types or really have their back against the wall, and I think they're going to try to come out pretty strong. And let's see if the top two front runners can stand up to the scrutiny, because, I just hope that the tough policy questions get asked, not the pop culture American Idol stuff that, I'm tired of. These are critical times for our country, and we need to have serious people answering serious questions.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The pop culture questions really have to go. And I'm rather surprised about Dr. Carson's rise. Are you surprised about that?
Well, no, because I think that, again, he's an outsider. He has that, calm, type of voice out there. But, again, I'm looking through the prism of who can be a commander-in-chief, because that's the most important role of the president. So let's see who can step up and do that for, this nation. And I'm not looking for people to have complete details right now, but I need to see a cognizant knowledge of what's happening in this country.
Do you think that there's any particular candidate who, if they do a poor showing, would have to drop out of the race at this point?
Well, I think without a doubt you're going to start seeing, there's only X amount of resources out there. And by the end of the year, you're going to see 5 or 6 people that are still remaining as viable candidates. Maybe there'll be some others trying to hang on. But for the most part, if you can't be on the stage in these debates, if you are not, getting the support and the resources, you're going to have to drop out.
Yeah. I know you have to run, but one final question, Colonel West. I know that you've mentioned before that you were not considering running for the office of president, and it looks like you're sticking to that. But even Sarah Palin,
18 now. Well, 17. It would be back to 17 since Rick Perry dropped out.
But even Sarah Palin and Donald Trump have floated your name as a possible vice presidential candidate. Would you consider that if one of the current became the nominee, and they asked you, would that be something you'd be interested in?
Well, that would absolutely make the heads of the liberal progressive left spin, and you would probably see who the real racists are in this country. But this is the thing. I got to take it to the Lord in prayer. I have to talk with my wife and daughters, because that's a monumental endeavor. And if we get those thumbs up, then, we'll go forward and continue to serve this country as best as we possibly can.
Well, it's still not a yes, but we'll take it. Thank you very much for joining us, Colonel West. We know you have to run. It has been a pleasure, as always, speaking to you. I hope I get to speak to you again, and hopefully meet you.
Always an honor, Rod.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
You too, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, that was Colonel Alan West, and it's always a pleasure to speak to him and get his. He brought up some very good information about what's going on with Russia and what we are doing, or I should say, not doing, in order to control. Let me put it this way: we have a very bombastic candidate in the GOP realm right now, and that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is very loud. He's very bombastic. He tells it like it is. Now, you have to understand that that's the type of personality, A1 type of personality that we need to go up against China and Russia, specifically Putin. Putin is a master chess player. And he is maneuvering, all of the chess pieces on the world stage. This reminds me of a game. A game that I used to play as much as I could. There weren't a lot of, you needed more than two people to play, but oftentimes I would play with just another person, two people. But it was based on chess in a manner as well as history. And when you're playing the game, you get to see how maneuvering is important, not just, what you're doing on the battlefield, but what you're doing to prepare for another battle. The game was called and is called Axis and Allies. And if you've never played it, I suggest that you run to your toy store or game and hobby store and look it up and play it. Get it and take it home and play it. It'll give you an education on military and political strategy. Now, obviously, this is a game that's based on World War II, and the Axis and the Allies are already established. But when you have more than two people playing, if you have 4 or 6 people playing, and each one playing the different countries that were involved in World War II, you will learn that you have to work with that person or those people in the Allies or in the Axis in order to get things done, to maneuver your pieces on the board to be in a position to do battle to win. It is an eye-opening experience for anyone that plays that game. You'll get a great understanding of why and how things are working and operating in the world. And right now, we have got Putin, who is a Axis and Allies game master. Now, I don't know if he actually plays the game, but he would be a master of it. Like we have the chess masters out there. Well, this guy is a master of this game. And our president is not. He's never even heard of the game. And he's being played for a fool over and over and over again. Yet the left is giving us candidates like Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton, let's face it. Hey, how's that reset with the relationship with Russia going, Hillary? Well, let's be frank. We put Hillary Clinton in charge of our forces and our diplomacy. She's already been scooped numerous times. Why would we want to put somebody who's already been bested by Putin in a position to be the leader of this country where he can take advantage of her again? And let me be clear, Putin has no care for what we would consider to be chivalry. He would trounce, pounce, beat the you-know-what, politically speaking, out of a Hillary Clinton presidency. There is absolutely no doubt he's not. And if you think that Putin won't, well, you think if Putin is going to be nice about it, well, then you better take a look at the Chi-Coms. Look, they have certain. Let me put this in historical perspective. In World War II, we had something called the Axis powers. Well, we called them evil. You had Germany, Italy, and Japan. Was Japan really concerned about worldwide domination? No. They were concerned about Asian domination. And they were well on their way to taking over the entire continent and Pacific rim of Asia. The only people standing in their way that they recognized was the United States. They had to take us out somehow. The reason why they didn't invade our West Coast is because they had no ambition to take over the United States. They wanted the East. The other Axis powers, Germany and Italy, oh yeah, they had the ambitions of taking over the United States in the Western Hemisphere. That was their ambition. And they got together with Japan and said, you know what, if you do this over here and on this side of the world, in the Pacific side, we can take care of the Atlantic side. And we can rule the world together. How's that? Look, that whole axis is being reborn, but not with Germany, Italy, and Japan, but with similar players in similar parts of the world. Russia, China, and Iran. Look, folks, you've got to understand that this is some serious crap that's going down right now. And no, I am not talking the possibility or plausibility of World War III, although that is not out of the question. Because as soon as Iran gets the bomb, the nuclear bomb, and trust me, that is what they are working on. This whole deal, how do you make a deal with somebody who even today, over the weekend, releases a video calling for your destruction? How do you make a deal with them? You can't make a deal with them. And, and I got to tell you, on my Facebook page, I see people talking about, we got to accept all these Muslims because it would be anti-Christian and we're bigoted and racist if we don't accept them. I got to tell you, the last thing we need to do is to increase the Muslim population in the United States, in the Western Hemisphere. We don't need them. They're too. I realize that there are certain, just like Colonel West said, okay, how about the mothers and the children and the elderly? All of you, all the wives of soldiers and all the soldier age males, you're not allowed here. You got to stay away. Go back and fight for your country. Why are you? The only reason that they are fleeing, they're not fleeing. They're not fleeing, folks, and I'll tell you why when we get back.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And welcome back to the wonderful Rod Eccles Show. That means that I am, Kevin thinks that he's Mr. Wonderful from the Shark Tank. Nah, actually, I think I'm Mr. Wonderful, because I like to think that I really am, because I tell Kevin tells the truth too, but only in business terms. I'm telling you the truth about life. And, in politics encompasses life. So even if you think that you're not interested in politics and politics doesn't affect you, politics is interested in you. And it definitely affects you on a daily basis. I hear people, and I always cringe when people say, I don't follow politics, it doesn't make a difference and it doesn't really affect me anyway. And really? Okay, so every time that there's a new law that comes out and it doesn't affect you? Well, yeah. Well, that's politics, my friend. When taxes go up or down, that doesn't affect you. Well, yeah. Well, that's politics. Yeah, politics it affects every aspect of our life. I mean, hell, just in New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie, are you paying attention? Your state is intimidating and threatening homeschool parents. I mean, there's a couple that is suing the state now because they had, a child services worker knock on their door, demand to be let in and interview the kids, and ask all kinds of questions that had nothing to. I mean, the kids. Evidently, nobody reported these kids as being mistreated, but the problem was that these kids were being homeschooled. So this person was, state agent, was asking these kids all kinds of questions to make sure they were learning the right things, I guess, and threatening the parents, demanding, well, we want to see their records, not just their educational records and their homeschool curriculum. They demanded their medical records. There's no evidence of child abuse, and obviously when the social worker was interviewing the kids, they were happy, healthy, being well fed, both body and mind, and yet she still wanted to get their medical records. For what reason? So if you do not think that politics does not affect you, you're an idiot, because it affects you every single day. And the mattress that you lie on at night has all kinds of regulations to try to protect you while you're sleeping. So even in your sleep, politics is affecting you. Your pajamas, if you wear them, are also regulated. Can you believe that? A pair of pajamas? Regulated by the guy? Yes. You'd be surprised at and all that regulation. Some of it is good. Don't get me wrong. Some of that regulation is good and is necessary. Some of it. But all that overregulation adds to the cost of everything. From your gas, to your coffee, to your eggs in the morning, to your cereal. Yeah, and then of course, if you live on the East Coast, you're probably having to drive through a toll booth. Well, that's politics, government regulation there. It's a tax. Oh, you have to go register your car every year or every 2 years, depending on your state. Well, that's affecting the cost of that is affecting you. So I don't want to ever hear anybody who has ever listened to this program ever tell me again that they're not interested in politics because it doesn't affect you, because it affects you every single dang day. Now, if you'd like to weigh in on what Colonel West said, the number here is toll-free 603-835-3224, 603-835-3224. Now, back to the fact that we can't allow. Look, I've been hit from all different on both sides of the political aisle about this refugee thing because I'm against it. I am, like many Americans, I am firmly against accepting even more Middle Eastern people into this country. I'm against it. And I'm being hit from both sides of the political aisle, telling me that I'm mean, I'm cruel, I'm bigoted. I'm none of those things. I'm looking out for the people of the United States. Now, you have to understand, my family resides here in the United States, so yeah, I'm looking out for them, but I'm looking out for my fellow Americans. And let me tell you, those Middle Easterners are not... Look, let me be blunt and very clear about this. Islam is not compatible with Judeo-Christian ethics. It is not compatible with Buddhism. It is not compatible with Sikhism. It is not compatible with any religion that we know of on this planet. They will not assimilate. All you have to do is look at England and France and Belgium and a few other European countries to know that Islam, Muslims do not assimilate. Now, we may, complain and be real bitty about Latinos not assimilating and as we call it, infecting some of our cities and creating these little Havanas and little Brazils and whatever. And all they want to do is speak Spanish and not learn English. But let me tell you something. At least they understand the culture of the United States. And they do work with that culture. They blend in with the culture. Even if they don't want to necessarily speak the language, they still blend in with the culture. And religion. Their religion, well, most of them are Catholic, but they're very blending with other religions such as Sikhism and Buddhism and Taoism and all other kind of stuff. Islam is not compatible or accepting of any religion, any faith, and that goes for all you people who are agnostic and atheists as well. I know Democrats, most atheists and agnostic are registered Democrats. And they think, well, this, we got to have them, we got to be humanity, all this kind of stuff, be humane and a lot. Let me tell you something. You're some of the first people who are going to go. Islam may not like Christians and Jews, but they hate the heathen even more. The heathen would be those people who are agnostic or atheist and don't believe in a God. The heathen would be the gays and all those other alternative lifestyle people. The heathen would be all of you small business people going up to the big business. Not just big business. They don't like business owners, especially if you loan anything to anybody, or you loan money to anybody, so you could say goodbye to all you bankers, all you pawn shop owners, all you rent-to-buy store owners, like Rent-A-Center and Color Time and all those kind of places. Oh, no. That's against Sharia law. You can't charge interest. Credit cards, forget it. There's no interest to be charged allowed in Sharia law. And yet you want to import these people here. Why? So we can give them safety. No. How about we stabilize their own country so they can stay there? Why is it that we got to just take people in no matter what, just because we're supposed to have bleeding hearts? Now, those bleeding hearts are, touchy-feely bleeding hearts are going to start bleeding for real. Do you not remember 9/11? And let me remind you, 9/11 was the comeuppance or the final action of what happened under Bill Clinton in 1993 to the same two buildings. 93 was a test run. Everybody says that, well, no, it failed. It didn't fail. It was a test run. They figured out what was going to bring down those towers. And it wasn't going to be a bomb in the parking lot underneath. They figured out those buildings were built to withstand that kind of stuff, and they were far too strong to bring down from the ground. The one thing you have to understand, these people may want to take us back to the 6th century or whatever, 600 AD, but let me tell you something, they're not stupid. They are not, the stupid people are the West. Western nations are accepting. Do you think Russia and China are accepting any of these refugees? Oh, hell no. Oh, Russia's down there in Syria trying to prop up Bashir because, you know what? He wants those people to stay there. He doesn't want them infiltrating Russia because they already have a problem in Russia with Muslim extremists and terrorism. China has cracked down in that crap long ago. In fact, when we had the Uyghurs here in our custody down in Guantanamo Bay and we wanted to send them home, China says, oh, hell no, you're not sending them back here. So Obama had to find some other country who would be willing to take them. Because their own home country of China said no. Understand that. These people's own country of birth, said no. And yet we want to bring these people here. They're being told they can't go to certain countries for a reason, not because of hatred of their kind, not because of bigotry, but because we know exactly what letting them in will do. Now, look, there might be 100,000 refugees fleeing Syria. And we know all 100,000 of them are not innocent, bystanders. We know for a fact that many of them are operatives of ISIS or other terrorist groups. We know this. We don't know which ones, but I find it interesting that in certain groups that are picked up or saved or rescued, up to 80% of them are male under the age of 30, 18 to 30, 80%. Now, why aren't these males fighting for their country? Why aren't these males, 18 to 30, fighting for their families and their beliefs? Because they're not fleeing. They're operatives. And you start letting them filter in throughout Europe and the United States and Canada, and you are asking for trouble. Now, let me just ask you this. Is it worth saving one of them over there, bringing them here, if the one that you save ends up killing hundreds or thousands of your own people like 9/11. It's not worth the risk. It's not. And I cannot fathom for the life of me how anybody would, on either side of the political aisle, would argue with me about this. Because all they have is the touchy-feely stuff. Look, I understand the heartstrings and pulling and tugging of the heartstrings. I get it. Look, I'm not totally cold. I'm not Spock from Star Trek. I understand it. But at the same time, facts and logic dictate that it would be unwise and unjust for the people of this country to allow them in. Now, people have got to start understanding that. They got to toss out this hard. Yeah, it's kind of, the problem. Just today, I was talking with somebody about the lion, the Cecil the lion issue. He asked me point blank, well, what do you think about trophy hunting? Now, I knew what he was getting at. He wanted to get my view on hunting lions, especially Cecil. Now, understand, I have enunciated this numerous times. I am personally against trophy hunting of any kind. But I understand a few things. One, I understand in Africa where trophy hunting is allowed, it's an economic boon for them over there. It helps manage certain animal populations over there. And it also gives them money, the money that is needed to fight poaching, because poaching is huge over there. Now, I get the fact that, that we think here in the West that it is kind of barbaric just to go hunt something so you can mount it on your wall or throw it on your floor as a rug. I understand it. I personally would not do that. I have no problem with hunting. I like hunting. I don't hunt deer because I don't particularly like venison, but I like hunting. I have no issue with anybody else going out there hunting. It's necessary in some cases, especially to help control the deer population. I'm all for it. Nothing wrong with it. I do have a problem with trophy hunting. I would not personally do it. However, trophy hunting doesn't really happen all that much in the United States. Oh, sure, you get people that go out, for the big game, the moose and certain elk and everything. Those things are pretty big, but people still eat moose and they eat elk and everything else. And I fully understand most people do not eat bear or lion. People who hunt bear, they do eat the bear. I personally myself, I couldn't eat bear. I couldn't even bring myself to eat it. No, it doesn't seem appealing to me. Now, I've tried venison. Didn't particularly like it. I was told it because it was prepared improperly for me. So maybe someday I'll try it again. But at this juncture, I don't like it, so I'm not going to hunt it. I don't need a lion rug or a lion head mounted above my fireplace, so I'm not going to go to Africa to do a trophy hunt. But I understand why they allow it over there. And the one thing that we Americans have to understand is the rest of the world does not think like we think. They don't even care what we think, actually. Oh, sure, some of their governments might care a little bit what our government thinks, but the people of those countries do not care what we think. You got countries in the East, in Asia, that eat cat and dog. Now, to us, that's just disgusting and horrible. They don't give a damn what we think about that. They like it. And they're going to continue doing it no matter how much we protest in our streets. They're going to do it. It doesn't mean that we're on a higher consciousness or a higher plane because we decide that we're not going to eat cat or dog. And we're not on a higher level of consciousness or a higher plane because we don't trophy hunt lions. Give me a free... you want to talk about being arrogant And I have been accused of being arrogant and not understanding. You liberals are the ones who are the epitome of arrogance. You know, if you look up arrogance in the dictionary, I guarantee you that you're probably going to see the word liberal somewhere in there. Because you guys are the ones that are the most arrogant. And then when your own arrogance is a blatant lie, you want to try to foist that blatant lie onto somebody else. And thus, you create this, you misinterpret the term or word bigot. And now everybody who disagrees with you is a bigot. No, that's not the term for bigot. You don't want gays to get married. Oh, you're bigoted. No. Those who disagree with gay marriage are not bigoted. They're not doing it based on race or economic condition. So what this is leading to, look, don't misunderstand me. This whole notion that liberals have invented for this bigotry has nothing to do with the fact of societal norms. It has everything to do with the battle and hatred for Judeo-Christian ethics. Now, the problem is, just like in the Middle East, when you take out a certain power, there's going to be a vacuum. That vacuum, because vacuums cannot exist in nature or in the universe except in outer space. They can't exist on a planet with an atmosphere. That vacuum is going to be filled, and it is going to be filled with all kinds of things that you do not like or want. So you, by denigrating and reducing the influence and power of Judeo-Christian ethics, you're creating a vacuum. That vacuum is sucking in other non-compatible people and religions like Islam, Sharia law. And let me tell you, you people on the left are going to get it first because you discuss them, Islam, the most. Why do you think they still hang and behead gays in the Middle East? But I don't hear any gay groups, the LGBTWXYZ community here, condemning what's going on over there in Muslim countries. Oh, no. They're more concerned. Oh, this one woman, this one county clerk who's a Christian won't issue gay marriage license. The world is going to fall apart. Oh, hell is going to break loose because this woman won't, issue gay marriage licenses in one county in the state of Kentucky. But the Supreme Court said, we don't care about your religious beliefs. Well, let me tell you something. You bring in these people from the Middle East who has Islam as their religion, you're going to start caring pretty damn quick when they start taking over. And let me tell you something. That is their goal. Do not misunderstand that is not their goal. Their goal is one world religion, one world domination, one world government under Sharia law. That has always been Muhammad's goal. It is written into the Quran. Now, y'all better understand that. And you better understand it pretty damn quick, or we're going to end up here in the United States like France and England. Germany is about to find out in about a decade what a big mistake they're making right now. Belgium already figured it out. I think, wasn't it Belgium that decided no more? Not a single other, Middle Eastern or Islam or Muslim is coming into their country. They cut it off. You're looking at some of the Nordic countries that are doing the same thing. They're severely reducing the number of people that are allowed to come in from certain regions of the world for good reason, because those people are putting their own natural citizens at risk. Look, don't misunderstand me. It's not that I don't hate these people. I don't hate them at all. And it has nothing to do with any sort of bigotry. I fully and thoroughly disagree with their religion. But that does not mean that we need to have a religious war. However, when it comes down to the survival of your own country and your own people and your own family, that takes precedence over any refugee, especially if those refugees present a clear and present danger to your family, your neighborhood, your state, your country. You understand are y'all understanding the words that come out of my mouth? I'm trying to be very clear here. I mean, I don't think I'm talking mush mouth. But you know, the answer has to be no. I'm sorry. It really needs to be no. It needs to be no on the front of allowing more of them to come here. It needs to be no on the front that we're spending our hard-earned tax dollars on them over there. It needs to be no to Putin. You are not allowed to interfere over there. We're not going to let you. In that we will stand militarily and politically against you. And this whole notion that you give, President Obama an ultimatum is. Do you think Putin would have done that if Ronald Reagan were in office right now? Oh, hell no. I'm not saying Putin would be cowering over there in Russia. Of course he wouldn't be, but he would know better. What always happens is that the strong prey on the weak. That's always bad, yes. But what's worse is those that know better allow certain strong people to prey on their own weak. That's bad.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form codex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing, and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
joining me here on the Rod Eccles program. And, there was just so much that I wanted to discuss with him, and I had a very short period of time in order to do that. And unfortunately, just didn't get to a lot of the stuff that I wanted to discuss with him. There are a few questions I really did want to ask him, as well as I wanted him to talk about his new book, The Guardian of the Republic. And unfortunately, I was unable to really get to him because he did have to run. But let me tell you, look for it. I'm sure it's available on Amazon if it's available in bookstores and everything else. His new book, The Guardian of the Republic. I actually have a copy, and I'm reading it now. And let me just tell you, you need to read it. You need to read Colonel West's book, Guardian of the Republic. You should also visit his website. I go there almost daily. Really, I do. AlanBWest.com. It is fantastic information over there. Folks, the man is brilliant. And don't think I'm fawning over him, because I'm not. I have a genuine respect for the man. One, because he's proven himself, so he's earned respect. Two, he's very knowledgeable about a myriad of things, especially geopolitical issues. He's been to certain places that we're talking about. He knows exactly what's going on the ground. He's been on the front lines. The man knows exactly what he's talking about. And I have no doubt that at some point, if he decides to run, he would make an excellent president of the United States. Awesome. He would be you want to talk about bringing back respect and integrity to the office of the presidency. That's the man to do it. It really is. And, I know he's got the military background, he's got the political background, but he's a godsend, much like Reagan. Now, maybe it isn't in God's plans for him to be president, but he's making an impact now. He really is. And we definitely need more people like Colonel West to get active in the political realm. Look, I have all kinds of respect for this gentleman, and he is a gentleman. So, yeah, check out his book, Guardian of the Republic. You will not be disappointed, as well as checking out his website, AlanBWest.com. Again, you're not going to be disappointed. Speaking of websites, my own website, rodeccles.net. If you have been visiting lately, you're noticing some changes that are occurring to it. Now, understand that the look and feel of the site is pretty much going to remain the same, but there are some major changes that are happening both in front of you on the screen as well as behind the scenes in the code that is going to make the site easier to access and navigate, as well as it's going to be a lot easier for you to share content from the site. And there's going to be a bunch of content that is going to be loaded up there on a daily basis coming soon. Right now we are loading content on there, but there's going to be much more on a daily basis. And again, there are nothing to sign up for. There's no emails and everything like that you have to input or anything like that. That's not necessary. I'm not looking for that kind of stuff. I don't have a newsletter to sell you, like some of the big guys. Maybe I should. Maybe I should start a newsletter. I don't know. Would you guys pay for that? I don't know. I'm more interested in making sure that you get the truth. And I don't need to do that via a paid subscription newsletter. Not to mention, look, I've done newsletters before. That's a lot of work. And frankly, I'm busy enough as it is. I don't need to add, editor-in-chief of a newsletter that I have to put out every week or every month. I don't have time for that. I would rather let you get the information as it is. Now, will I be doing more interviews? I still really don't like talking to people like that because I don't think that they're going to like me anyway. Because I'm not going to, especially some of these politicos. I'll admit it. I would love to talk to Donald Trump. I would love to have. It's probably not going to happen, but I would love to have Donald Trump on the show. Would I like to have? And there's one other person I would like to have on this program, and that's Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton. Either one of them. Love to have them. They would never appear. Why? Because I would ask them the real and tough questions, and I would not allow them to obfuscate with their answers. I'd keep going after them. Because anybody who's running for political office, anybody who's asking for your vote, they need to understand that we do not work for them. They have to understand that they have to answer our questions. Now, I don't have to get combative with Colonel West. He's not running for any political office. I don't have to get combative with a few other people because they're not running for political office. But if you're running for political office, you better expect some really hard questions. And let me tell you something. I am not going to take the stand pat, polished answer or non-answer. I think that's a bunch of BS. You need to answer the American people's questions. Plain and simple. And you need to answer it in a way that the average American can understand it. Plain and simple. And frankly, if you get asked a yes or no question, then answer it yes or no. I mean, I know this is not a court of law, but let's be real here. I find it most disconcerting and annoying when a reporter or a journalist or a talk show host ask a particular person that they're interviewing an obvious yes or no question, and then they answer with this 5-minute long diatribe. That bugs me to no end. And frankly, I wouldn't allow it on this program, which is why I don't do interviews, because I don't want to be, I don't want to be construed as being a nasty, irrational type of person. And it's not irrational to expect an answer to a question, a truthful, honest answer, straightforward answer to a question. That is not irrational at all. But that is how I would be perceived. I'm just being honest. Well, anyway, welcome back, my fellow Americans and fellow freedom lovers all across the globe. You know who this is, your lovable host, Elrod. And yeah, I'm coming to you tonight from my bunkerized home studio somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. Now, the number that you can call in to weigh on anything I've been discussing tonight, or Alan West, or any of the candidates, is toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, the number is 603-835-3224. And, speaking of Hillary Clinton, it is becoming harder and harder and harder for the Democrat National Committee, the DNC, to make sure that Hillary Clinton is going to be their nominee for president. Now, understand that they do not want Bernie Sanders to be the nominee. They're not going to allow Bernie Sanders to get the nod. I don't believe they're going to allow it. I do not believe that they're going to allow. He would get trounced in the election. I know a lot of people think, well, no, Bernie, he's been around a long time. He would not be good in a debate. He wouldn't be good in a debate with just about any of the Republican candidates. They would destroy him based on his record, his beliefs, and his history. There's no way he could stand. They would shred him. The DNC understands that, and understand that when people are talking about Bernie, Bernie's got 20 and 30,000 people showing up at his events. Look at the crowd and see who they are. Now, in that crowd, mostly are people under the age of 30. And 75% of them don't vote anyway. They're not even registered, and they're not going to. So there goes 3/4 of his support. So there is no possible or plausible way in an honest and legitimate election that Bernie Sanders wins the presidency of the United States versus any of the current Republican candidates. Even the one that just dropped out, Rick Perry, would cream him. I'm convinced of that. We would, however, believe it or not, I believe we would have a hard time defeating Hillary. Never count out a Clinton. History has shown us this. You do not count out the Clintons. They're never... You may knock them down, and they may take, to the count of 9, but they will get back up and kick your butt. They have since he burst on the national scene. Speaking of Bill. Because everything we know about Bill, if we were speaking truth and logic, he shouldn't have been elected. Okay? Maybe he's lucky. He shouldn't have been reelected. Okay? He gets lucky twice. He shouldn't be as popular and beloved as he is today. Now, folks, getting elected once, maybe even getting reelected is lucky, but staying in the public eye and being beloved and have high ratings, that's not luck. That's skill. Now, say what you want to say about Obama, but he followed the same playbook. Man should not have even gotten the nomination, but he did. The man should not even have gotten close in the election, but he won. He should never have been reelected, but he was. So never count these people out. Never count them out. Just saying. Do not think that whoever the Republican nominee is going to have a cakewalk. You're going to have to work harder than you have ever worked before to defeat the Clinton machine. But it is getting harder and harder for her to reach that pinnacle. Hillary may face perjury now. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, are wringing their hands on the right and in the center, and in the right thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be the end of Hillary. Oh yes, that's it. Might I remind you that Bill Clinton perjured himself in a court of law during a trial. He was even impeached in the House of Representatives, but he was not convicted and removed from office in the Senate. But do not think for an instant that she's going to be charged, and even if she is, do not think that is going to stop her from winning the White House. Her husband got to stay in the White House even after everyone knows, including most of the non-nut job liberal left, know that he committed perjury. You understand what I'm saying? The media knows that Bill Clinton is a perjurer, but they still supported him anyway. The DNC knows that Hillary Clinton is a liar, probably broke the law, and now probably adding perjurer to her list And yet they're still going to support her anyway. There isn't going to be a Joe Biden coming in to save the day. As I have said, look, Obama would love nothing more than Biden to get in. But let's face it, there is a reason why Biden isn't getting in, and it's the same reason that the Obama administration in their second term has kept Joe Biden under wraps. Because he's open mouth, stick foot in it on a daily basis, Biden. You put him out there as the front runner. I mean, I find it interesting that people can say, oh, George Bush is an idiot. George W. Bush, oh man, he's a retard. And yet he never said anything close to what Joe Biden says almost on a weekly basis. And yet Biden is still, Joe is still this smart, wonderful, brilliant person. Really? If George W. Bush said the same thing that Joe Biden said, you would be looking to try to commit him to some sort of institution for the mentally incapable. But because it's Joe, it's okay. Well, yeah, it's just Joe, everybody. We know Joe. It's just Joe. Because Joe's an idiot. He's not a brilliant person. He's just a politician that's been able to entrench himself, so he hasn't had to really worry about much. Let me tell you, if Joe Biden had serious competition like he did during the primary when he was trying to run for president, he wouldn't get very far. Joe Biden is not the savior of this election season for the DNC. And the DNC knows it. Otherwise, if that's what they thought, Biden would already be in the race. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not going to get in, but he's not going to go anywhere. And the whole notion and reason why Biden has such high polling numbers for not even being in the race is because even the left understands and knows that Hillary's in trouble and they can't support somebody who's that bad. But let me tell you something. When it comes down to it, whether they, should I vote for the Republican who's honest and trustworthy, or should I vote for the Democrat who's a liar, hypocrite, possibly a criminal? Well, they're Republicans, so no, I can't vote for them. That's all that matters. Now, if Donald Trump were to be a Democrat, Hillary Clinton would be an afterthought. She'd be a footnote by now. I'm telling you, if Donald Trump was a Democrat, they'd be loving on him. But he's running as a Republican. And because he's got that R, they don't want to support him. The surprising thing, it's not surprising to me. And if you listen to the show, it's not that surprising to me because I've told you that this is, blacks are starting to wake up. But there have been a couple of recent polls that have shown that Donald Trump is getting as much as 25% of the black vote support. 25%. Now, I know that has some people on the right, absolutely up in arms, and not the people on the right that you would think. It's the people on the far right, some of the conservatives who think, well, geez, if they're supporting Trump, Trump can't be a conservative. That's not the point. I'm telling you, that's what some people are thinking. Right now, well, geez, if blacks are supporting Trump, he can't be that much of a conservative. And I tell them, you're missing the point. Ronald Reagan garnered, what are they called? They're called Ronald Reagan Democrats, right? All those Democrats had voted for Reagan. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that blacks are voting for or looking to support Donald Trump. Because they're waking up to and understanding what the left is doing to blacks. And let's face it, the Democratic Party has taken the black vote for granted. They don't think that they have to do anything for them anymore to get their vote. In fact, the Democrat Party, their new favorite minority is illegal immigrants from Latin America. Those are the ones they're focusing on, at the detriment to the black community. And the black community is starting to wake up to this. I've told you this in these polls, and people are starting to come out of these communities talking about, look, you're bringing in all these Latinos, and they're taking the jobs that we could possibly get, but now we can't get them because they're getting them. What about us, is what they're saying. I mean, there are people looking at Obama. Hey, Obama, man, I thought if we helped you, you'd help us, but we're worse off today than before you took office. And man, what about us? People are asking that question now. And they're realizing, you know what? You jokers have taken us for a ride. You've taken advantage of us for decades. Not anymore. Now, if you don't, 25% for a rich, white, old businessman who's a Republican is freaking huge. It's humongous. That is now, if he actually wins the nomination, and let's say he doesn't get 25% of the vote, if he gets only 15%, you got to understand how big of a shift, how big of a paradigm shift that is. The Republican Party has claimed that they've been, the leadership has been claiming they've been trying to figure out a way to entice blacks to, more blacks to come on over to the Republican Party because they actually love blacks. And Donald Trump just went out there and acted like Donald Trump, told the truth, told it like it is, and look who's following him. I mean, so much so that what are those two ladies on YouTube that have become quite famous for supporting Donald Trump? You wouldn't get that kind of support if it was George W. Bush. Maybe for Reagan. But not for any of the other Republican candidates, but for Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. If I were Trump, I'd be looking at the black community as the secret ace in the hole. I'd be speaking to them, too. Don't leave them out. They like you, Donnie.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
603-835-3224 is the toll-free number to call should you wish to speak to me, yours truly, here on The Rod Eccles Show. Hillary, yes, Mrs. William Jefferson Clinton, may face perjury charges for the latest this latest discovery. Judicial Watch is reporting, and this is via Newsmax.com, and actually it's all over the place, and the Washington Times, that Hillary could be facing perjury charges for Emailgate. And here's the problem. The State Department has admitted that there's a 5-month gap in Clinton emails. Now, didn't she say that she turned over everything that was relevant? But here's the story. There's 5 months worth of gaps in the emails former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton turned over to the government. I'm sorry. How do you? Well, I turned over 30,000 emails. Well, there's 5 months missing, Mrs. Clinton. Now, according to the Daily Caller, gaps in the emails are discovered in documents. In other words, look, folks, I told you this before. I told you the reason why it took so long for Hillary to turn over the server was because they were wiping it clean. And in order to do so, they had to be able to eliminate certain things in certain ways so it wouldn't come back to bite them. Now, the problem with doing that is one, it takes time. Two, you got to have people who know what they're doing. And three, when you have a massive amount of information like was on this server, it becomes nearly humanly impossible to get it perfectly correct. Not to mention, you have to understand and know what other documents are out there that are not available to those who are wiping the server to get rid of. And that's the problem that she's running into now. Let's see, she's outsmarted herself. There's a 5-month gap. Judicial Watch's President Tom Fitton told a group's leadership summit on earlier today. And he says, I want an explanation about that. These emails raise questions whether Clinton told the truth last month when she submitted a statement to federal court that she'd handed over all the required emails. Well, you're missing 5 months worth of emails, and we know this via other documentation that we're missing 5 emails or 5 months of emails. Now, Fitton also blasted Clinton's claim emails she didn't turn over were of personal matter. There's a 5-month gap. Let me reiterate that. There is a 5-month gap. So are you trying to tell the federal government and the American people that there's the 5-month gap, they're all only personal emails? And we're supposed to, well, there are some on the left that are buying it. Well, yeah, that can happen. Yeah, that's good, yeah. 5 months, yeah, they're all personal, yeah. Do anybody remember the well, they probably don't. It's from, yeah, see, yeah. Bugs Bunny. Well, it's Bugs Bunny making fun of some gangster movies that were made in the 30s and 40s. Yeah, see? Yeah, 5 months, yeah, because that was, they were all personal emails, yeah, see? They're personal emails that you don't need to see? Yeah, that's it. But they're not, some people are not buying it. Thankfully so. And this is resulting, all of this stuff is resulting in, by the way, not only is it resulting in Hillary losing support, and I know there are a lot of people on the right that are just wringing their hands and loving this and thinking, yeah, the Clintons are going to finally get it. I keep telling you, that's probably not going to happen. I would love to be, wrong on this. Rare occasion that I would be wrong. I would love to be wrong about this. I don't see Hillary Clinton doing a perp walk. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I'm speaking from an historical perspective on her. I know she's not Bill. Well, maybe I should change that. Change it because, if I can't get that White House and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get back in there, well, I don't want to be hamstrung with this dog of the rest of my days. I don't have many days left because I'm 70 years old or close to it. So, 59. And, I want to spend the last of my days, having some fun. And I can't do it with that old hag on my arm. She's just going to drag me down. So y'all are just going to have to take her and haul her off to prison, so I can be free. Because once she's there, I can just have fun. I can divorce her without having anybody to say that, I'm a bad guy. And I can still go out there and have some fun. Hey, we got those pills called Viagra, that little purple pill. I can afford the real stuff. I don't need to get that generic stuff. I'm going to get the real stuff. And I'm going to have some fun, man, without her. But, if I can't get in that White House and have fun, well, I'm going to have fun in Chappaqua. You know what? Yeah. Hey, I'm not going to need, Orgy Island. It'll be Orgy Chappaqua. You know what I'm saying? Her poll numbers are deflating fast. Now, for the first time, national poll numbers are indicating that Hillary Clinton is below 50%. 50%. Below that. It gets really hard to win a presidency, to win any election, when your negative numbers go up and through the roof and your favorable numbers go down into the basement, as well as your national and local poll, state by state poll numbers start to tank as well. It gets really hard. This is why I say, I don't have an issue with her being the Democratic nominee. Any more so than Bernie. Either way it goes, the Republican candidate, unless the Republican candidate is gonna be overly and outrightly, uncharacteristically and out of definition of chivalrous, Hillary doesn't stand a chance. Now, I can tell you that I know there are some people out there saying, well, Donald and Hillary are friends, right? Let me tell you something. Donald Trump really doesn't have friends. Not as we, the regular people, understand friendship. Now, well, I'm sure that there are some people in his inner circle that he really, truly considers to be friends. But when it comes to the Clintons and a bunches of other people that Donald Trump calls friends, they're not in his inner circle. And if they're not going to be, beneficial to him, Donald Trump has been known to not only discard, but try to destroy them. He's not going to have a problem with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton and I, yeah, we're friends. We're friends. Well, we're friends until we get on that stage together and debate. I'll destroy her then. They're not really friends as you and I know friends. You have to understand when you get to a certain level, look, let me explain it to you this way. In my own private life, I have a lot of friends. I do. I have a lot of friends. There are very few people in that inner circle that are really friends. So when it comes right down to it, those friends in that outer circle, and then there's, people I don't know or don't care about past that. But there are those friends, quote unquote, in that outer circle of friends that, I'm going to be honest, they're only friends because it's beneficial for us both to be friendly. But as soon as that dual benefit ends, at least if it ends on my part where there's no benefit, then I can say that we're no longer friends. We're not enemies, but if you do something that kind of ticks me off, that works against me, yeah, you're in that enemy circle now. That's done. And think about yourself. You have your inner circle. And it's, for most people, that inner circle is not populated by a huge number of people. It's just not. This is not, think of it like, Friends, the TV show, or the more recent friend TV show, How I Met Your Mother. There's that tight inner circle group that you hang out with, that you really care about. And then there are those people that sort of just orbit outside of that inner circle, who you call friends because you're friendly with them, you have a good time, when you're with them, and maybe you do business with them or other things. They're okay. They're friends. They're not friends. They're friends. But if something were to go sour, you're probably not going to back them up, or they're probably not going to back you up. Not like your inner circle friends. Right? Am I think about your own life. Am I right? No, I'm not wrong. Of course I'm right. You're going to do what you can to help, but they're not going to be your priority. Your inner circle friends are your priority. Your outer circle friends are not your priority. You will do what you can without necessarily going out of your way to help them if the need arises. But you're not going to go to bat for them. You're not going to have their back. You're not going to. That's, for your inner friends, because your inner friends. And your inner friends know, your inner circle know you. Now, does Donald Trump know Bill and Hillary? And does Bill and Hillary know Donald Trump? I'm going to say no. So therefore, they're not part of that inner circle. In any case, new information released this morning by government watchdog group Judicial Watch reveals gaps totaling 5 months. Furthermore, other State Department officials had been informed of the gap, suggesting that Mrs. Clinton's statement that everything had been turned over was a mere slip or oversight. It is not an oversight to be missing. It's an oversight if you're missing a day's worth of it. Considering the vast volume and big number of emails that we're talking about, it's an oversight to miss a day, maybe 2. Even possibly missing a week. 5 months is not an oversight. 5 months is a cover-up. See the difference? When you're talking 33,000, 100,000 emails, a week might be an oversight. Oh, yeah, we missed a week somewhere. We don't understand how we could have missed a week. But there is no way in hell you can convince anybody with a reasonable brain and a reasonable mind that uses that reason that says that 5 months, that's just an oversight. Not gonna fly. Well, then again, we are talking Clintons here. You got Slick Willie. He's probably trying to save as much as he can in order to get back in that White House. Let me tell you, there is a person behind this whole campaign that you're not hearing about or seeing very often, and that's Bill. Now, Hillary, for her part, probably isn't really paying attention or listening to a lot of what Bill is telling her. But Bill wants to get back in the White House. He wants to make history. We're the first couple to be president. I get to be in the White House at least another 4 years, possibly 8. I get to, and I don't have to worry about a lot of stuff when I get back in the White House because I won't be president. I'll be first man. I'll be like Sarah Palin says. I'll be the first hunk. Trust me. He wants back in. He wants back in the inner circle of power. He wants back into that inner circle of prestige. He wants the 90s back. And his only way to get it is through Hillary. Now, I'm sure that there are plenty of family arguments about what Hillary's doing in her campaign that Bill just doesn't agree with, saying, you're not going to win if you keep doing this, Hillary. But I don't think she really wants it. I got to tell you, I think this woman is trying to sabotage her own campaign for some reason, because there's just no way in hell that it's an oversight to miss 5 months. Just no way, especially when you are going to testify under the penalty of perjury. You're going to make damn sure that everything that you're saying is the truth. Or if you know that it is a lie, you're going to make damn sure that your lie stands up and that the truth is covered up completely. I don't know how you can possibly think, especially if you're considered to be the smartest woman on the planet or one of the smartest women on the planet, how you can possibly think that you could hide 5 months when there is other documentation everywhere else in the government that would be proven to be a lie. Now, does she want to go to jail? Oh, hell no, she doesn't want to go to jail. Does she want to go down in flames and be humiliated? Oh, hell no, she doesn't want to go down in flames and be humiliated. But I don't think she wants to go through this campaign and be president either. I think there's something else back there. And who knows? Maybe she's thinking, she doesn't want Bill to have any fun in their last decade on the planet. Hey, the way Bill's going, I don't know. Will he hit 80? I don't know. But when you get up in age like that, and you get into your 70s and approaching 80s, and you think about the last days. And what do you want to be doing with the last days of your life? I'm pretty sure that Hillary's probably seen that one and said, well, you know, I got obligations, so I have to run. But maybe she's trying to sabotage her own campaign, because I can't see anybody running a campaign that she's the way she is who really wants it to be running it the way she is. Maybe she's just testing everybody's resolve in the waters and saying, and trying to see how much she can get away with. I doubt that's the case, but I mean, let's be real here. I have given you everything that I have. There's a 5-month gap, Hillary. Oh, that was a simple oversight. I am so sorry. I don't know where those 5 months went. I ordered my staff to turn over everything that was on that server. If there is a gap, I did not know about that gap. Nobody's going to believe that. That's what she's asking us to believe. Nobody is going to believe that. So the emails of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton turned back over to the government last year contained gaps, according to internal department messages evaluating her production. I don't know, evaluating her production. What production? Mrs. Clinton took office in January 21st, back in 2009, but the first message she turned back over to the department was dated March 18th. So you're telling me between January 21st and March 18th, as Secretary of State, she didn't have any emails? And the earliest dated message she herself sent was on April 13th. 3 months into office? A Secretary of State? In this day and age? Oh, there's a gap there. Hey, Mrs. Clinton, how about the very first email you ever sent? Oh, I don't recall. Besides, what difference does it make at this point? Telling you, folks, this is there's a lot more. Look, this is a cover-up to end all cover-ups. Some of that, I wouldn't be surprised if Barack Obama's behind some of the missing emails. I mean, some of that stuff, it probably implicates him. Which might explain why Barack has not brought down the Justice Department hammer on Hillary's head. You know, just clearly paving the way for Joe. That's not hard to do. All he has to do is go to the Justice Department and say, hey, you get rid of this Hillary, and you get rid of her now. Here's all the stuff you need. Now do it. Because if anybody's got anything on her, it's that man. Yeah, he's holding back. And I'm sitting here scratching my head thinking, well, he's talking to Joe, telling Joe that, hey, Joe, you got my support. If you decide to get in, you should probably go ahead and get in. You were the best decision I made in my political career. Go ahead. What is all that BS about? And then not pulling the trigger for Joe. I mean, there's something else going on there. There's a whole lot more going on. My logic brain saying there's a whole lot more going on there. It's not a conspiracy. It's just logical to assume that there's something else that's happening there. Because let's face it, Hillary and Obama, the Clintons and the Obamas, there's no love lost there. None whatsoever. I'm noticing the clock and we are winding down fast. I am going to have to go to a 3-hour program because I haven't even covered, 2/3 of the stuff that is in my paper pile. But here's something that I found kind of interesting. From Newsmax as well, Mark Cuban, the shark from the Shark Tank. Mark Cuban, wealthy businessman Mark Cuban thinks fellow billionaire Donald Trump has changed the game in politics. So much so, in fact, that the Dallas Mavericks owner and multi-billionaire says he might just take a run for office too someday. Now, Cuban reports, however, would be his campaign would be far different than Trump's, but he's still thinking about it. Now he thinks that he could possibly do it someday because, you know, things have been changed due to Trump. And he says the fact that he has changed the game, the idea of imperfect candidates with forceful ideas opened the door for a lot of people that would not have previously run. He's got a point. You know, I got to tell you, I didn't used to like Cuban when he first appeared in Shark Tank. I didn't like him, but I got to tell you, the more I've listened to this man and the more I've learned about him, I got to tell you, I actually like him. I like him a lot. He's another straightforward, straight shooting, straight talker kind of guy. I like that. Even if it is just business. But he does that for, you know, personal life too. So look for, could it be President Cuban someday? 2020 maybe? I don't know. Look for it. Until then, we're out of time for the day. We'll be back. Don't miss us. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. You have yourself a wonderful night and a great tomorrow. I'm out.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.